Hi there, it's Sandra with Brew City Thrifts. Today I'm at the small Goodwill, which is over by the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee campus. I am not usually here at this time of the week, which is a Thursday afternoon. Have no idea what I'm going to find, but let's figure it out together. So let's hit it. So they've got a white section here, and the first thing I noticed is this little chipmunk hand painted on a board, and it's quite sweet. $3.99. It's nice quality and it's signed, but I decide against it. Then I see this chalkware ceramic, looks like a dodo bird to me, whatever that is. And then this little white ceramic cat. It is not very old though, so that goes back. Here among the tchotchkes, the first thing that catches my eye is this ceramic basket with what looks to be blue roses, but it is a contemporary piece made in China. This gold heart-shaped trinket box is made by Toyo, which is a brand I recognize. I have picked up some other items made by Toyo that I liked, but in this case I decided to leave behind that heart-shaped trinket box. I didn't like the gilding that much. I don't typically pick up, as you've noticed, little figurines, realistic figurines of anything. So wood blocks are more like what I might be interested in, but even those are a little bit under processed for me, so I left the wood blocks. I do love wood though. That candle is really, I like the design, and it looks like it might have some age, but I don't typically pick up those kinds of candles either. But then I see this armadillo, and it is made out of wood. It's got what looks like a quite old price tag on it, and it is an hors d'oeuvre server. It's designed for toothpicks to hold the hors d'oeuvres to be served, and that goes into my cart. Still among the tchotchkes, I noticed this carved wooden cardinal, it looks to be, or nuthatch on a piece of, it looks like driftwood. And it's plain, but I do love things that are made out of wood, and I think it's got its own beauty, so I put that in my cart. Next, I noticed this pair of toucans that are relatively muted colors for toucans. The shape looks to be like a toucan, so I'm interested, but then suddenly I am distracted by, oh, here's a friend for my armadillo. This is a wooden appetizer serving frog, so that goes right in the cart with the armadillo. Back to the toucans, I start to pick them up, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling it too much. I think those are cute, but I'm going to leave them behind. The other things that speak to me are also made of wood. I thought that figurine was a little bit rough, and this one was just not a design that I was thrilled with, so I did not take those. I was going to move on. The small Goodwill has an equally small holiday section, and I'm over here around Thanksgiving and the fall and autumn things, and I noticed this fun turkey. It had a big crack on the bottom, and close by on the bottom shelf is this gargantuan turkey that I have difficulty pulling out because it's so heavy. Solid wood, hand painted, and just a nice piece. I'm not seeing any damage. The aged look, I think, is intentional. And I put it in my cart. It's very solid, so it was okay for me, I think, to lift it by its head, although that's not ideal. And it's made by a place called Beaver Creek in Beaman, Iowa, and I decided to take it. Sitting pretty over on this shelf is a sizable Japanese teapot. It is metal. It has a raised design on it, and it's really pretty. I remember when these things were super hot when I first saw them around maybe the 1990s, and I always loved them. I bought one for my mom, a small one, because they were pricey even back then. And this one I'm really happy to find. I have a small collection, but I might sell this. When I got home and opened it up, it still had its original tag attached. It was just under the lid. So it's a nice piece, unused, and I'm glad I picked that up. And this was a very pretty picture. It is hand painted. There's a pretty yellow lemon on it, and there is unfortunately a chip. Possibly forgivable, but even though it's signed and a really nice piece, I decided to pass. I saw these on the shelf and thought they were so interesting. They looked like, home crafty project pieces. The plates are pretty beat up, but they also look very old. It looks like someone applied cloth in these little designs of a little woman with a hat and a man. And again, they have a lot of age and a lot of charm. Not my thing, but someone else might really love these. I've mentioned before that I touch everything when I'm thrifting. I have to lift things up. It's true that sometimes touching it can tell you a lot about it. It can tell you the weight, the quality, what something's made of. But I also think it's just my habit. I do it unconsciously. I notice this casserole pan and it's salt glazed. And when I lift it up, I'm like, oh, it is Rowe Pottery, which is made here in Wisconsin, in Cambridge, Wisconsin. And it's a lovely casserole piece, and it is not damaged that I can see. It's a pretty little flower design. And I have a friend who collects those, or collects Rowe Pottery, and that's who I have in mind for it. I don't know that I will sell it. I think I'm just going to hold on to that for my friend. This teal pottery vase with a really cool design caught my eye. I thought mid-century. Picked it up. The condition is really bad, and when you look at the bottom, it looks to be a very cheaply made piece. I still kind of love that design, but I decide it's deteriorating. It may not last very much longer. I put it back on the shelf. Another pottery vase that catches my eye with a cool design is this one. And again, it seems to be a more inexpensively made piece, but what a great design. I still really kind of like the look of it. A little chippy there. I think this is a slightly better quality than the other piece. But then I look at the bottom, it's got a pretty modern tag. I don't know how the other thrifters or you all do this, remove tags with one hand. I can never do it. I always have to stop the camera and use both hands. So I don't get this one off, but I decide not to take it anyway. I'm doing a second walk through some of the shelves, and on this green shelf I notice this ceramic fish. I thought it might have been chalkware, which is what drew me to it. I know chalkware fish, especially the kind of fun looking ones by Miller Studios in the 1970s, are very collectible and go for good money. I put this in my cart to look it up and think about it. I thought this might have been hand-painted violets, but it's a relatively new piece by Grace's Teaware. And then this dragon cup with the yellow, cherry yellow background and the very detailed dragons. Honestly, I kind of loved this cup. I really loved those dragons, and I wanted it for myself because I don't have enough teacups at home. Ha ha. I don't have room for it, but I loved it. Finally, I saw this humble little piece of etched yellow depression glass. That is a federal glass in the Madrid pattern. And I have a friend who collects yellow depression glass, and that's going to be a perfect gift for her for the holidays, maybe filled with some candies. I don't typically notice a lot of things of value in the bags at the Goodwills. I shop. They seem to be, there's one Goodwill that will put, for example, salt and pepper shakers in bags, and that makes, that's nice. Some napkin rings. I mean, there's some of those here, but most of these things are not too interesting to me. I'm trying to give them a look on the outside chance that I've been, missing stuff all along, but this trip, the napkin ring holders were the things of interest to me, and none of them were that exciting. Poker chips, they felt like they were ceramic. I don't know what makes a poker chip collectible. I think age, but those didn't look that old. I'm back in the Halloween section, the little holiday section, and reaching behind some pumpkins, I saw this cat figurine. It's resin, but it did have a signature, and I thought, hey, I will try to take this price tag off and find out if there's more of a signature. Again, I cannot do it one-handed, but that was cute enough. I thought that was kind of a fun piece, and so I decided I will take it and maybe look it up later. So here are the things in my cart that I am planning to take, but I still put something back, and that is this ceramic fish. At the last minute, I decide that is not something that I want to try to sell, but I do take the wooden armadillo toothpick holder or hors d'oeuvre holder, and the wooden frog toothpick hors d'oeuvre holder. I take this Japanese teapot. I take this, it turns out to be E. Smithson, who does a lot of cat collectibles, and I take that Halloween cat. I take this wooden bird on driftwood. I take this piece of depression glass, little dessert bowl or fruit bowl, and I think the find of the day was probably this large piece of Rowe Pottery for my friend who's going to be thrilled. No chips. Thought it might be, but that was not a chip. Oh, the last piece was this turkey. How could I forget the turkey? That was a pretty good find. Score.